I still wouldn't want to test the fates because watch, I'll be the one person that gets attacked by a fucking coyote.
It's because you look weak. You're making yourself look weak and edible.
You look weak and edible. Is that what your demon said to you? Hello, theologists, sisters and misters.
Welcome to the Coven.
We have more stories that I want to share with you. You want to just hop straight into it?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Okay. The first one that we have is My Uncle Visited Me the Day of His Death by user B. La Bruja.
We apologize for mispronouncing all of your names, every single one of you.
Every single episode of r/paranormal, half of it is me just butchering the username. Alright. I'll start by saying that my uncle, mother's brother, has been quite ill for some time and was living in Guadalajara, Mexico. My family lives in Southern California. I haven't seen him in 20 years since we couldn't afford to take the whole family to Mexico for regular visits, but we would speak here and there throughout the years. On Easter Sunday, my husband and I were putting up a new gate he and my son made the day before. I turned around to grab a tool and saw a tall, dark man with messy, curly hair walking toward me from the back of my backyard. He came around me and then disappeared. Full disclosure, I see figures quite a bit often, so this didn't really scare me. When my husband came back, I told him about the man and described him. He didn't recognize him, but we joked that it may have been a nosy spirit wanting to see the construction happening at the house. Later that day, I took my kids to my brother's house where my mom is currently staying. She received a call from my aunt, her sister, but my mom didn't want to answer right away. She wanted to play with the grandkids and she said she would call her later. After I got home, my brother called and said my aunt had called to try to tell us our Uncle Rito died earlier that day. My mother was devastated. After speaking with her and consoling her, I remembered my encounter with the dark figure. I searched through some old pictures. As I said, I only had 20-year memories of my uncle, and I realized that is who visited me, except for one thing. My uncle was short, maybe 5'8", and this person was about 6 feet, but they both had curly, disheveled hair, had a bit of a pot belly, but still thin in the shoulders and legs. I haven't told my mother because I don't want to make her feel bad, but I think it may comfort her to know that a brother came by to say a final hello and goodbye. So what are your thoughts on that one?
Pretty normal, but that's from my view.
Every day.
It's a pretty normal, everyday kind of thing that a spirit does. But as for spooks, I mean, it's a typical ghost visit. I don't know where I would rate it.
I mean, is this something that you would say is par for the course for ghosts?
Yes.
So in that case, do you definitely think that this was a ghost experience?
Oh, yeah.
Then you would rate it a 10.
Okay.
That is how this works. We've been over it many times.
I forget every time how this rating system works, guys.
God, I'm just so desensitized. Nothing scares me, all right?
No, things do scare me.
Nothing scares me that other people experience. Only my own experience is scary.
Shut the fuck up. What are you at? Emma, what is your opinion? Because this is pretty cut dry.
Yeah. Okay. So it's really hard to tell, like, just how similar the figure was to the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And since she said that she's seen other figures, then I'm going to give it an 8. Because there's still, like, that 20% chance that it could have just been a random hallucination. But I'll give it an 8. Do you debate my 8?
I do not debate your 8. Okay, what's the next one then?
Alright, we have The Thing with Red Eyes. I'm kind of bad at writing, so I apologize in advance. This is also all true. By user WelfareChild100.
I am very concerned already.
I really love the title. So I like to explore abandoned places. Me and a friend were walking through the woods of Virginia to find an old mine shaft. It was about 8 p.m. last Saturday. So as we were walking, all the animals would go completely silent randomly, and shortly after we would find a bunch of flat stones stacked on top of each other, along with branches cracking and rustling in the woods. This happened probably about 4 times. Further in the woods, it became completely silent and stayed that way. So during this walk, we are looking around when my friend spots these red eyes in the distance, about group height. We stopped for a bit and just stared at it till we got bored and continued our walk. We soon spotted them again, but this time waist high, so we ignored it and continued on. Once again, we came across the eyes, but this time they were closer and about 5 feet tall, leaned slightly to the left behind a tree. I should mention that we forgot our flashlights and did this whole thing with the lights on our phones. Our light source didn't really go out very far, but we sat there looking at this thing for what felt like an hour. We could see it blink and look around, but it never moved. Occasionally, we would get the smell of rotted flesh. At this point, we said, "Fuck the mine. We need to leave." I knew there was an old road not far from where we were, so we headed towards it. But we came across what I think was a coyote. Big-ass dog-looking thing. I love that. So we debated if we could walk around it, but by the time we decided and realized it, we had become surrounded. We had 6 of these animals around us in every direction except directly behind us. In that instance, we looked at each other, pulled out our buck knives, thinking we'd rather die fighting. But the coyotes never approached us, they just stood in front of us, so he suggested we would walk backwards till they left us alone. As we walked backwards, the coyotes followed us, but if we started to go to the left or right, they would kind of jump at us. We made it out safely, but looking back now, it's been almost a week since this happened. I kind of feel like the coyotes were guiding us to safety from whatever that thing with red eyes was, but I'm no quitter. Me and my friend will be going back to those woods again as soon as I get a weekend off. I need to know what those red eyes were, and I really want to explore that mine. You guys got any idea on what thing has red eyes? Let me know. That's it.
I am a man of science.
Yeah.
Witchcraft and science.
They can hold hands.
They can work together, they can hold hands, they can kiss, they can make love. Now,
thanks for the briefing.
as far as science goes, coyotes don't do this unless they're rabid. Coyotes don't want to interact with humans at all. They don't. They're scared. They're more likely to kill a bunny or a mouse. They won't jump at a person. They won't pack up in that big of a group. Usually the biggest amount you should be able to see is about 7 if you're in the middle of a pack. I was hunted by coyotes once. I don't think I ever mentioned that to you, but that's
I'm sorry, what?
I was out in the woods with friends, and we were going through the woods to another friend's house who lived, like, I don't know, 2 yards.
Like in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, like in the same neighborhood. But the whole neighborhood is literally just the forest.
Sounds like my neighborhood.
No, your neighborhood has lawns.
Yeah, my neighborhood has a street. You're right.
This one does not. The street is very far up, and nobody goes down it. We lie down on the ground in the street. So we start going back. Now, my dog, Thor, my little pit bull buddy, he ate my glasses. So I didn't have glasses. And it's dark out. So naturally, I can't see very well without glasses. But I can't see, like, at all without glasses if it's pitch black darkness in the middle of the woods.
I think just about anybody would struggle with that, but yeah.
It's just worse when you're so nearsighted and unable to see. And then, yeah. So, one of those friends held my hand and guided me through and didn't leave me behind. Because if I was to be left behind, I should have been attacked by a coyote because they would pick on the weakest thing they see, which in the vicinity would be me stumbling around like a baby deer.
That makes sense. And you were how old?
21.
Just the idea of you stumbling around like a baby deer at age 21 is very funny to me.
I'm gonna leave you alone in the fucking woods with no glasses on in the darkness and see how you feel.
I mean, we've already established that I'm a little bitch. And
you'll also probably die, and I won't do that.
I mean, I just don't know what you'd be trying to prove at that point.
I'd leave you alone, and you just curl up on the floor and start crying.
It sounds about right.
Like, please bring them back.
I'm not gonna pretend like I won't. I got nothing to prove.
So from my experience with coyotes, they don't do that. We had them circle us in a pack, but they were about 2 feet away from us. That said, we continued on our path up until they circled us. Then we went back. We doubled back and went up towards the street, down the street, and then down towards the house that our friend had been in. And this is, I believe most people, I'm sure that I've dropped my locations at some point here. So this is all the way up in New Hampshire, like way up in the woods of New Hampshire. Like nobody can hear you scream, you can bury a body and nobody's ever going to find it, kind of deal.
Oh, we love that.
So, people have guns up in New Hampshire that live free or die state. And people do a lot of hunting up there. And so we go down to this guy's place, and first off, we spooked him. The only reason that he didn't, full out get spooked is because he had a dog, and she knew us. And so she, made a noise for him, and he was like, oh, it's the kids. He's like, what are you kids doing out here?
Ended badly.
Yeah. That could have ended really badly. It's like, what are you kids doing out here in the middle of the night? And we're just like, well, we were just kind of exploring and we were going to tell you blah, 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 whatever. And then we were like, but then we saw some coyotes. So he reaches over to the side, grabs his gun, shoots it up into the air.
Oh, and then...
and he's like, the coyotes should be gone.
You're welcome.
And then we were like, doesn't one shot mean, like, you're in danger and the neighbors should come over? And he's like, oh, yeah, you're right. So he shoots it again.
Wow, so there was a code for that?
Yeah, one shot means I'm in danger, and 2 shots means I'm okay.
Huh. Okay, question.
And that was what it was.
What if you're in danger, but you get so anxious that you just start arbitrarily shooting?
Well, if you shoot more than 2 times, it's obvious that something's going on, and somebody's going to go find out what it is.
So, what you're saying is... every amount of times other than 2 means please send help.
Yeah, please send help. Because if you've shot more than 2 times, you're not hunting something because it's fucking gone. Christ. That means something's fucking hunting you.
So what's your point with because you said that's not what coyotes do. So basically what you're saying is that
a gunshot scared off coyotes and we didn't get attacked by coyotes when walking back to get to this location.
I have a follow-up to this, not from the same poster, from somebody else in the comments, and I skimmed it and it delights me and I want to run it by you.
Okay.
Chrono Fury in the comments replies, "You stumbled into Sasquatch territory. I can almost guarantee it. Literally every aspect of your story is associated with Sasquatch behavior.
Oh boy.
Even the mention of coyotes, the forest going silent, the stacked stones, sound of branches being snapped, the eyes peering at you while leaning out from behind a tree, and the coyotes. Coyotes are scavengers, and a theory is they will follow Sasquatch to take advantage of all the scraps they leave behind. Also, there are a lot of audio recordings that claim that Sasquatch will use the howls from coyotes to mask their calls to others of their kind from people. Edit.
What the fuck?
Forgot to mention... Okay. Edit. Forgot to mention, I doubt the coyotes were shielding you from the Sasquatch. You said you would occasionally notice the smell of rotting meat. Likely that there was a kill nearby, and the coyotes were just protecting their next meal. The coyote and Sasquatch benefit from each other, like I previously mentioned. The comment goes on, but I think that's the part that matters the most. Oh,
okay, wait.
By the way, listen for whistles and tree knocks.
Oh my god. Okay, so a coyote will not defend its fucking food. If it sees you as a threat, it's gonna run off. That's what I believe. I don't think that they're very aggressive. I could be wrong because I haven't looked up coyotes in a long time, because the issue in my location right now is actually foxes being complete assholes. But coyotes don't really attack humans and they don't defend their food last I checked.
I'm not going to pretend like I know what coyotes do or don't do. All I know is if I were to rate this in terms of whether or not the thing with red eyes was some kind of supernatural or a supernatural being or a cryptid, I don't know. I'm sure there are animal eyes that look red in certain lights at night. That has to be a thing. Stacked stones, anybody can stack a stone. It's not like you're the only people that have ever been there. Sound of branches crunching. You're in a goddamn forest.
Emma,
What?
I'm sorry. I was googling a couple things.
Yeah.
Uh, so coyotes are really only protective of their den sites in the summer, which they just aggressively chase or attack any animal that gets too close to their young. They don't even think of dogs as prey and will usually not attack a dog.
Oh. I always thought that they did.
No.
I just did one quick Google on my own time,
Hmm.
and I just looked up red eyes in the woods just to see if any animals happen to have red eyes.
They do.
Apparently, owls. Yeah, another animal is owls, red or orange eyes in the dark. Yeah, so I mean, like, basically, I highly doubt that it was like a fucking demon. It was probably just a fucking owl. I mean, you even said it was peeking out from behind a tree. You said it was at different heights. Like they said it was at uh like eye level, then it was at like waist level, then you saw it peeking out from
Hmm.
behind a tree. It's probably
There's
just
also
fucking
owls also
owls.
don't just hoot. They can also chirp, whistle, scream, screech, bark, growl, shriek. They have a million different freaking sounds.
So
0 spooks out of 10.
zero
It's
spooks out of 10.
spooky, but it's not supernatural.
It's terrifying. Again, if I were in that situation, I would have shat myself. I don't think I would have made it nearly as far as you guys did, nor would I have the balls to go back, even knowing that it's not supernatural. One, because coyotes, even though I guess coyotes don't really attack, I still wouldn't want to test the fates. Because watch, I'll be the one person that gets attacked by a fucking coyote.
It's because you look weak. You're making yourself look weak and edible. Lie down on your back, belly up, and just die, Emma.
Look weak and edible. You look weak and edible. Is that what your demon said to you?
No, but I'm gonna make that my fucking Discord mood right now.
Yes. Christ. Yeah, zero spooks. If
0 spooks.
and only if it's probably like 80 other things in the woods, and it probably isn't a fucking Sasquatch. Uh, if you're ready, we can go for story number 3. This one is The Skeptical and the Flying Plate by user Ballerina Llamas.
Is that you?
The Skeptical or
Yeah.
the Flying Plate?
Both.
Alright, you ready?
Yeah, tell me about the skeptical and the flying plate.
I, for the most part, was skeptical of ghosts at the time. We had just moved into the new apartment. It wasn't long after moving in that my father had started to see a man in a red shirt in our home. My sister and I hadn't seen anything and probably wouldn't have believed him, just chalked it up to a dad joke if it wasn't for the flying plate. This is floating shirt energy. I kind of wish I saved this for last. If it wasn't for the flying plate that all 3 of us witnessed, wow, this really is the floating shirt one. We were all standing in the kitchen talking about the ghost and what we have for breakfast. This happened in a split second, so I apologize if I'm not the best at being descriptive about it. All of the plates were tucked away on this dish rack. Suddenly, one plate from the middle of the rack jumps out of the rack and onto the floor, lands gracefully as to not break the plate. Those plates are so delicate, I've chipped them just by washing them. There's no way it fell off of the middle of the rack that high up on the counter and didn't smash. It was like someone invisible picked it up and put it on the floor in front of all 3 of us. If my father and sister weren't there, I would have felt crazy. I don't know if I believe in ghosts, but I believe in something. I saw something with my own 2 eyes.
Yeah, a hit of acid.
It was drug.
Drag?
Someone drugged your breakfast.
Someone definitely drugged your breakfast. I don't believe that for a second.
You just straight up don't believe this one. Do you
No,
believe the floating shirt more than this one?
I don't know. But fucking that doesn't happen. Ghosts don't have that kind of dexterity.
I mean, how do you know? Maybe they had a really high dex stat.
Reroll your fucking character.
But seriously, so do you really believe that ghosts could not accomplish the task of lifting a plate and putting it on the floor?
No, I do believe that they can. However, gently, no.
So you think that it would have made more sense if the plate fell and broke.
Yes.
And the fact that it didn't, so that just makes you think that the story is fake.
Yeah, I'm not really buying this.
So you're gonna rate it 0 out of 10, fake story, try again?
I'm gonna rate it 2 out of 10 because it's more believable than the fucking coyotes.
But is it more believable than the floating shirt?
It is not more believable than the floating shirt.
I think I made you put a 10 for that one.
I don't remember what I put for the fucking floating shirt. You want me to look through the notes?
I was like, okay, but like if it was a true story, for sure.
You were very adamant about this.
I was dying, Arthur.
Shit floats then vanishes. I put 0 out of 10, and less true than 10 out of 10.
Yes.
You put 2 out of 10.
Unless true.
Or real 10 out of 10. Okay, so
can't...
let's give it 2 votes, okay? We'll give it 2 votes just like
It's
this.
either 0 or 10.
I'm gonna give it a 0 out of 10 if it's a fucking...
0 out of 10 if you're a liar. 10 out of 10
true.
If you're not a liar.
Yeah, if it's true, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Is that the same that you're doing?
Yeah.
0 or 10?
Yeah, 0 or 10. It literally... if it is real, I would have no way to explain that.
And nobody would really believe you either. So I'm kind of just like this is kind of this is kind of up in the air like a flying plate. I don't...
3 a.m. flying plate challenge. All right. I have one more for you. Let's finish up. I really, really, really want your input on this one because soon in the future we're gonna be recording some episodes about your powers. This is a story less about ghosts and more about powers, and I want your take on it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Just say that again without sounding like you were in the middle of something.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, this is called I Burn Out Light Bulbs by user Palm Trees 1098.
I like it already.
This sounds pretty odd, but when I'm very stressed out, parentheses, work is hard, the kids have kept me up all night, etc., every time I'll go to turn off or on a lamp or light in my house, the bulb will completely burn out when I touch the lamp, even if they're brand new bulbs. This typically will happen several days in a row and will affect every lamp I touch, meaning that I have to replace the bulbs in every lamp. Usually when this starts happening, I'll go buy like a 6-pack of bulbs just because I know that it's going to happen more. Another maybe light-related thing that happens to me when I'm stressed is that streetlights will go out when I walk by them or up to them, and then will turn back on once I've walked past. This has happened many times when I go out for walks with my wife after dinner over the past many years. Was just curious to see if anyone had ever had similar experiences. Honestly, no clue what it could be, but I've always wondered. Edit, just want to clarify, this only seems to happen with incandescent bulbs, not LED. Again, no clue why.
9 out of 10.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, that was quick. Explain. I want to hear I really want to hear your take on this.
So, I've had a couple people who have this happen. It's not... I haven't looked into the explanation of it because it's not something that like piqued my interest enough, but I know at least 1 or 2 people who have been able to have lights just flicker off. There's actually a lamp, ironically pretty close by to that that portal, that little plane area. There's a lamp nearby there that anytime I walk up to it, it turns on or it turns off, depending on what state it's in at the time.
So this is something that's happened to you?
Yes, it's happened to me as well, but not as often and not as consistent.
Do you think it has to do with your powers? Like, what do you think causes it?
The best I can guess is that it probably has to do with spiritual energy and the amount of energy that you're putting off as a person.
So
So being
you
stressed out, you would probably be putting off a lot more energy.
Okay. So you think that your own personal spirit, as you said before, that you have a strong spirit,
Hmm.
your own personal spirit can interfere with electricity?
Yes.
And I guess because light bulbs, especially incandescent light bulbs, are already just like very fragile, I guess it's just really easy to manipulate them.
Yeah, that sounds about right, honestly.
I mean, like they are like pretty fragile. Like it's really easy to break a light bulb. So I mean, I guess it wouldn't take a lot to, burn out a light bulb, break a light bulb. So it's not like this is, TVs are turning on and off, like that kind of thing. Like it makes if they were going to claim something, the light bulb probably makes the most sense. So when you say that this has happened to you, is it only this one specific lamp?
Um, See, there's so many situations where I've had like things just turn off and on again like that, but I never equate them to my stress levels or my existence in the area at the time. This one was just so consistent because I consistently walked up and down that street at night,
Okay.
and
Uh
that's why I noticed it.
Possible experiment. Next time you're feeling really stressed out.
Go on a walk up Main Street. Got
No,
it.
I mean you have lamps in your house, in your
I
apartment.
have I have two, and I only use one.
I mean, is this something that you think you could even test if you wanted to?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
All right, let's really trigger you and then make you
Please
touch your
don't
lamp.
trigger me.
3 a.m. panic attack challenge.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So, okay, well, like, so here's the thing, right? So, you said that you've experienced this. You said someone else in your life has experienced this. This person has experienced this. And now, here's the interesting thing a lot of people in the comments also say that they've experienced this. I've never heard of this before, except in, like, Matilda.
Yeah,
Like,
but Emma, you live under a rock.
I live under a spiritual rock.
You live under a spiritual rock that's surrounded by salt.
But like, I'll just read like a couple. Holy shit, the thing with the streetlights is the exact same thing that happens with my mum. As well, my dad's dad could never wear a watch on his left wrist because it would always stop, and I can't have a pair of earphones for more than a month without the sound in the left earbud always going out for no good reason. So weird. Yeah, I also do this. Also, electronics will tend to glitch, and computers will malfunction and crash when I'm too stressed. Was funny back when I was a teenager because a customer I knew would come in, and between the two of us, we'd routinely knock out the entire store's lights and computer system just by talking to each other. The streetlight thing has happened to me too, especially when I'm feeling very strong emotions. Also, we have a lot of timers in the lab where I work, and when I get frustrated, they'll go off without it ever been running. But the biggest thing is that I'm super electricity sensitive, and thunderstorms and power grids give me severe headaches and nausea. I do this too. Also, anytime a program ran on my computer at work while stressed, it would make loud zapping noises. It caused some issues with my coworkers, and when my director called it, and they realized it happens only when I'm sitting at a computer. Like, and it keeps going. Like, there are
Yeah.
like 10 different people in here all claiming that like they've
It's not
either.
supernatural, Emma. It's spiritual.
Uh, what do you mean by that?
I mean, it's from their spirits.
Oh, well, I guess so.
They have strongest spirits, so they're able to accidentally manipulate electricity.
Is this something you think that you're gonna keep an eye out for now that we like actually talked about it?
I'm not entirely sure because I mean, I'll try to, but like, I'm not. I can't promise that I'm going to remember to keep an eye out for things like this.
If it does happen, definitely let me know. Did we ever rate light bulb story? I don't think
I
we
said
did.
9 out of 10. You didn't say anything yet.
I'll give it a 7 out of 10. The reason why I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, the 7 is because, like, since you've claimed that this has happened to you, I definitely trust your experience more than a random person on the internet. But also because so many people like responded saying that they've had similar experiences.
It's like a Yelp review.
It honestly. So, I mean, like, yes, there could also be the coincidence factor because there's that 30% chance of it could be just, random electricity stuff. I'm not an electrician. I don't know, what can overwhelm a bulb. I don't know if this is something that can be attributed to spiritual,
Emma,
energy versus electricity energy. I don't know.
Emma, this is why I told you that you should never be an artist. You should have just gone for electrician school.
You're right. I would have been so much happier. I would have had more answers for half the shit on this podcast.
Look at all of the look at all of the people that need your help with the electricity right now.
Christ.
You'd have a great job going.
God. All right, let's end this.
You would electrocute yourself.
I
You
would.
would fucking fail at that job.
You're damn right I would.
Someone would call me up and be like, Emma died. And I'd be like, what? How? And they'd be like, she electrocuted herself. And I'd be like, God damn it, I knew she should have gone into art.
Yep. Could have seen that coming.
I told you guys to support her dreams.
It's like, Arthur, didn't you tell her to go into
No.
Didn't you encourage that?
No. I discouraged that.
Oh, well, because it says in her...
Right here on the obituary.
It says right here on the tombstone.
Because we've already buried it. We're only telling you now. You missed the funeral, by the way.
The funeral, it happened. We expedited that shit. God. All right, we're going to bed.
Next day delivery
body.
No,
we're done. Cut it off. Put a pin in it. It's enough. It's enough for one day.
Put a pin in the coffin?
No. God, I love talking r/paranormal with you, but we got to end the episode. This one was really fun. I'm definitely intrigued about the whole light bulb thing. I mean, because it's obviously some kind of a shared experience, and I wouldn't necessarily consider that more psychological. It could just be straight up, something weird with electricity, but it could have nothing to do with supernatural. I have no clue, but I do think it's very interesting. That being said, we will see you next Friday with... What are we doing next Friday? Oh, next Friday is my tarot for you. I finally read your tarot. That was fun. If you guys are curious to see how I read tarot, catch us next week. And until next time, stay spooky.
Buy lots of light bulbs.